Hey guys, Michelle from Michelle's Craft Corner here, and in today's video we're going to be making this lovely card using the new Painted Harvest stamp set. Let's get started. So here's a close-up of that card we're going to be making today. I think it turned out great. Now this was made using the Painted Harvest stamp set, and this of course is available as a bundle right now with the punch, which we're also going to be using in this video today. So you can stamp those nice leaves and punch them straight out. Really, really nice. Also got some cute acorns in there too. So, besides the stamp set, we're going to be using a couple different colors of paper today. For the leaves, we're going to be using some Pear Pizzazz. You don't need a lot as we're just doing a few. For our background pattern, which I think is just gorgeous, this is from the Merry Little Christmas. Let me scoot this over. The Merry Little Christmas Designer Series paper, and I've got that right here. It's a wonderful 12 by 12 sheet stack, and I of course have it cut down so you can kind of get a brief glimpse. Now this particular stack is black and white with old olive, so it's a really classic look for a paper stack, and I think it is just gorgeous. So if you're not really feeling this particular shade of Designer Series paper, you could really easily do this card with any of the other sheets from this gorgeous stack. Okay. So besides that, we're also going to be using a little bit of Very Vanilla for our center and some Early Espresso. Fit that in there. Okay. Early Espresso for kind of our accents, and then our card base today is with Crumb Cake. Alright, you guys got all those papers? Now besides the paper, we're going to be using a couple different colors of ink as well. So for the center and just some sponging, we're going to be using the Crumb Cake. For our leaves, we're going to be using the Pear Pizzazz. And then to color our sunflower, we're stamping in two different shades, the Daffodil Delight and the So Saffron. We're also going to be using a dimensional to kind of pop up the center. And to fussy cut that sunflower out, we're of course going to be using our paper snips today as well. And you can use your adhesive of choice, but for the video I'm going to be using the multi-purpose liquid glue. Alright, let's put this one together. Off to the side. Alright, so we're going to start with our paper sizes. Now our piece of Very Vanilla is going to be cut at a 3 by 3 square. And then our border, Early Espresso, is going to be cut at 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. And this just gives it that really nice little border all around. And then we've got just this little background piece of brown. This was originally just a scrap, but I really loved how it looked. And this is 4 1/4 by 3 1/4, so just the whole width. And of course you can make it smaller if you care to. And our Merry Little Christmas sheet is, oh, I didn't do a post-it for that, but that is at 3 1/4 by 5. Alright, so let's go ahead and start with our piece of Crumb Cake real quick. Prep that card base. Stick that off to the side. We can go ahead and just glue down our background pieces. This is really quick and easy, so we want that to be just in the center, kind of like a belly band. I don't know if you can hear that, but it sounds like a squirrel is trying to get in the craft room and join the video. Hopefully you can't hear that. Oh, no, it's a bird. Never mind. Okay, so there's that. Go ahead and take our piece, and this, yet again, is 3 1/4 by 5. This is just our nice little background. See, that side's really pretty, too. Okay. You just want to lay it down where you have that crumb cake edge popping up all the way around. All right. So now let's go ahead and do some stamping real quick. Move these Post-its off to the side here. Alright, so let's start with our background piece. Now for this one, and I don't know how well you can tell, there's some lovely fern style leaves in the background from this set. Now the set has is made to do a background and then a more detailed on top. Both will work. I actually kind of prefer this one a little bit more because it has a little bit more texture, but you can really do either, and you can do a little bit of both if you want. So we're going to go ahead and grab that Pear Pizzazz out and our fun leaf. Oh, other thing, because this is a photopolymer stamp set, I forgot to mention this, I really recommend the Pierce Mat just to kind of give you a little bit more of a crisp stamping. And I just like to tuck that under my grid paper so it's out of the way and doesn't get ink on it. Alright. Now for this, I just kind of like to add the leaves to the corners. Just like that. Isn't that nice? I really like that. Okay. And then let's go ahead and also do our other leaf as well with our piece of Pear Pizzazz. Now for this card I did 3 leaves that we're punching out, but you of course can do a few more. And yet again, this is the detailed leaf from the pear. A little more, kind of shows up a little bit better. So we're just going to stamp that on the edge. We only need 3. Go. Now, I don't know if you guys know this trick with the punches. Now, if I open it up and slide it in like this, I'm not going to be able to see if I lined up that leaf correctly. But handy tip, if you flip your punch upside down and then slide your paper in, you can line it up perfectly and be able to get that stamp exactly where you want it and then just squeeze it. So handy tip for all the punches. You can flip them and stamp and punch this way. If you don't have the hand strength to punch it in the air, you can easily just lay it on the table and stick it where you want it and then press it down against the table. Oops, sorry, that shook the camera. Alright, so there's our 3 leaves. All good to go. Now, I really loved having this edge of this kind of distressed. I think it kind of helped tie the card together. So let's go ahead and do that real quick with our crumb cake and just one of our Stampin' Sponges. I like to wedge these out. You can get a lot more use out of them. I'm just going to ink that up and just kind of distress that edge. Get a little pop or two on top. There you go. So that really kind of, I think, gives it more of an aged, fun look. Alright, now it's time to move on to our sunflowers. Now, I will say that depending on what ink colors you have on hand, I mean, you can do the sunflower in any number of colors, and I actually made a really handy chart for myself using the yellows and oranges that I had, and this is with the Very Vanilla, so I could always kind of grab that and see what color I wanted to go for. So I really recommend, once you get the stamp set, do a little chart for yourself at home, and then you can just have that as a handy reference to make sure your sunflower matches your card. But yet again, we're just going to be using the So Saffron and Daffodil Delight. Alright, let's grab those guys. And a scrap of Very Vanilla. That is Whisper White. There we go. Scrap of Very Vanilla. That's probably too big. Alright, so for this one, yet again, really good to use that Pierce Mat. You're always going to want to start with your lighter of the 2 colors. So in this case, I've got the So Saffron is my lightest, and then the Daffodil Delight is my darker. And so the darker one will be the more detailed top. So For my background, it's the bigger, more solid one. And what I did is I did a little tiny Sharpie dot just to kind of point out that corner when I pulled it off. So it's a little easier to line up. You don't have to, but I liked doing that. All right, so we're gonna go, make sure I got the right one. So saffron, ink that up, stamp that straight down. Now it's gonna look a little blotchy, a little artsy. It's supposed to look that way, so don't stress. That's kind of one of the things I like about this set is it has that kind of artsy off look. For the top one in the Daffodil Delight, I'm gonna stamp it off first. Ooh, just slightly off my pad, okay. And then stamp on top, because I think it gives a little bit more detail if it's not uber juicy. It's easier to line up the center and then just press it down. There you go. So, yep, you can see it's kind of splotchy, kind of artsy, but very, very fun. And of course you can do darker, lighter, however you want it to look. All right, and now we're going to just go ahead and add the center with the crumb cake. Our little circle. And this one I'm also stamping off because my crumb cake is recently re-inked, so it's extra juicy. All right, and then I'm just going to line it up in the center and give it a little press. There we go. Okay. So you can see it's kind of a messy sunflower, but it's pretty fun. And for the sake of time, I went ahead and pre-stamped and cut one out. But you can see I did one similarly, just stamping off, and then I did one kind of full on, so it's a little bit darker. Okay, so we are just cruising. Yeah, I think my sunflowers turned out a little darker than my demo one because I had recently re-inked my ink pads from since I did that one. Okay, so now we've got our center here, and we've got our little border. We can go ahead and stick that on. I always like to glue background pieces after I've stamped, because that way if you mess up, you can flip it over and you have an extra side. If you glue it down and then mess up, you don't really have that option. All right, so glue that on with just that little bit of edge all the way around. Right. Then we're going to add our leaves. Just did one on that side and two on this side. Just like that. Now I had some of the leaves kind of popping off a little bit, so you don't have to glue the whole thing on these. Just gonna do a little bit on the leaves that are sticking down. Just like that. Okay, now we've just got our sunflower for the center. And I really liked having that dimensional pop underneath, so we're just going to grab one of those real quick. Flip and stick. I reused it from something else, that's why it's so dark on the background, on the back of it. Okay, flip it back. Stick it down just like that. So we've got our center. You could also, if you wanted to, brush the edges with some crumb cake or one of the yellows if you want it to pop a little better. All right, and then we're just gonna glue it on and be done. So pretty quick, pretty easy, and kind of a nice layout, which you could easily do in different colors, different flowers, a lot of different options with this one. There you go. So we are all done. So thanks guys for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.